Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nerd Cops podcast. We are going to be tier ranking video game adaptations. So these are movies or shows that have been developed based off of video games. We are only going to be doing ones that we have at least two of us have seen, so that we can actually give opinions on them. I had too much fun creating the tier ranks of this, so let me go through these because they don't make sense, but they're fun. So the top is Bob, best of the best. The second one, which is normally B, is Ant, actually not terrible. The mid, C, is Amy, awfully mid, yo. The fourth one, which is normally D, is Ernie, exists to ruin nostalgia in everybody. And then the last one is Ren, which is no disrespect to the artist. It's just what worked for this game, which is refund everybody now.
What
Any,
about me? No
I,
disrespect to
I
me.
don't think of you as a Ren. I guess
I
you
that's
could be.
literally like 90% of like my friends call me online
Well,
is Ren.
that sounds like
So
a them problem. Uh,
it's fine.
anyway.
I can be F tier. That's fine.
Okay. Any questions before we just dive in?
No.
So a little bit different than
No.
what we've done in the past because there was some pre-work put into this so that we would kind of have an idea of what we're going to be talking about. But for the most part, if you two have seen them, I'm going to let y'all kind of guide the conversation. If just me and one of you has seen them, I will jump in and help with the ranking. So let's do this. So we're going to start I'm just going to go in order of these pictures so that we're going to start with the Angry Birds movie. Have both of you seen this one?
What a great start. I have seen it, yes.
Okay.
I don't need to see it, but I've seen clips.
Okay.
And
So,
God, what is that movie?
okay. So, Casey, what are your initial thoughts on that? I'll let you dive into that
I mean,
first.
it was it was fine,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, it's literally a video game about flicking birds, knocking pigs over. So I did not go into it with really any expectations. So I mean, I
Yes.
walked away from it going, I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
So do what you
So,
want with that.
okay. I think for everybody, I think that just sounds kind of like a right in the middle, in this
It's
case of
pretty mid.
Amy. It's
Yeah,
mid. Like it's not terrible,
it's not.
but it's not enough to actually not it's where it's actually not terrible. So, yes.
That one's Amy.
So that one's Amy. Okay, let's jump to the next one. We got Silent Hill, which I will assume is just a me and Casey conversation, but Renner, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't like scary things.
Except for the one scary thing you specifically requested to be on here, but we'll get to that.
Two. There's
Right.
two. But there is the one that I did specifically ask to
Yes,
be on here.
yes. Okay, so Casey, I'll let you
Uh,
give your thoughts on that.
being honest, it's been a while, so I'm a little rusty on this one. But honestly, I just kind of remember it. I loved the video games. Silent Hill 1 and 2 is among the best horror games ever created by humans. Um,
I like the little dog that's controlling everything from like the weird screen room.
right.
The
Uh,
little Shiba Inu.
so I mean, I kind of want to put it in ant. Is kind of what I'm leaning towards.
Yep, I would agree with that. I mean, I do really like it. Admittedly, I was a little bit
Okay.
younger when I played Silent Hill. I did play it, or maybe watched you play it realistically. That's my older brother, FYI. And I mean, I have actually a little bit more nostalgia for the movie than I do the games, although I do have nostalgia for both. So,
Right,
um,
right off the top of your head, do you know what year that movie came out?
not off the top of my head. It's
I
in the
want to say
mid
it was.
it's in the mid 2000s.
I was kind of thinking later 2000s. So
Yeah,
that,
mid to
yeah.
late. Yeah.
So, and I mean that kind of I mean that tracks. I mean that makes sense.
Yep.
So,
Yep,
but yep,
absolutely.
fun.
Okay, now for the most
Bob,
recent of these of these adaptations is Fallout. So I'll let y'all I know y'all both have seen this one, so go for it.
Renner, would you?
Actually, not terrible.
Okay.
I
Okay.
actually enjoyed it. I thought it was very on brand.
Okay, so Casey initially said Bob. So what
I
keeps
freaking
it
loved
out
it.
of the best for you, Renner?
Um, I think it's just because there's a lot of okay.
I will just throw it while you're thinking about that. There can be a lot of recency bias in this one, obviously, just because it is something that just came out
It's
for us.
really
So
new.
yeah.
I will
Yeah,
say it is really new, so it's like it's it's really new. There's a lot of stuff to think about with it. Like I will say that it's good. It's really good. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this. But I just feel like that it needs a little more.
Okay. I'm okay putting it there for now. I think by the end we can revisit and see where everything else lands because honestly, in my head, if that one doesn't go in best of the best, I don't know which of these are. There's a handful, which we'll get to, but there's not a lot more that I would think would be higher than this one. But that works. Um so next up we have Five Nights at Freddy's, which I do believe I know Renner has seen it because I watched it with him, and I'm
yeah,
pretty sure Casey
and
saw that one as
I have
well.
too.
I'm gonna say also Ant.
Okay, I've
Where on
never
the
played.
ant level?
I would say above Silent Hill, probably.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with what Casey was about to say. Like I have seen the movie, but I never played the games. I haven't
Yeah,
really even watched the game, so I don't know how it is as an adaptation. As a movie, thought it was good. It's like it was
it
actually in
was it was a
definition
fun
of like
watch.
actually that wasn't too bad. I did go
Yeah,
into that going, this is I had very low expectations for that movie. So which actually transitions really well into the next one, which is Twisted Metal. Um, Renner, have you played or seen this one?
I know of Twisted Metal
Okay,
because of um
the internet.
no,
Uh,
PlayStation All Stars.
okay, okay, gotcha.
right on.
So I will say, I mean, I will speak for you a little bit here, Casey. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we're pretty freaking nostalgic for the Twisted Metal franchise, a video game. And I think you and I both went into watching the show with kind of this, let's just watch it ironically. You know, it's
Yeah,
going to be pretty awful, but that's fine. And I will say for me, and then I'll let you speak into this, it was actually much better than I expected it to be. Yeah,
I've loved it. I don't even think I've told you, but I've watched it two more times since then.
there you
So
go. There you
that
go.
should probably tell you where it goes on in my head. But
Okay.
I'll
So,
play nice.
so are you thinking best of the best, or are you
I
still thinking Ant?
yeah, I mean, for me, it'd be Bob.
Okay. I'll go along with that because it is one of those shows, and I will just say if you're a fan of Twisted Metal and you started it and if you were turned off by the premise of it, I just encourage you to keep watching because it really does tie into the video games really well, especially if you keep going. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm excited about season two.
yeah, um, yeah, absolutely. So next one, kind of in the same vein, if I'm being honest, is Rampage. Slightly different reasoning, but have both of y'all seen Rampage with Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
I have.
I have.
Okay. Renner, what were your initial thoughts?
Eh,
Okay.
That sounds
It
like an Amy.
it's 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 interesting if I'm being honest. Like how do I how do I say this? Like how like it's like how do you do that? You know, like how do you make a movie from a game like that?
Based on that source material, creating a movie on
Based
that was
yeah.
a task, uh, for sure. So I will say for me, it is one of those. I don't think it's super high on this list, but it is one of those where I watched it and I was like, that was better than I expected. Again, with those super low expectations. So, Casey, what'd you think?
Uh, I'd agree with you. I did not go into it with massive expectations by any means, but I'm also kind of a sucker for, crazy stories with gigantic creatures and monsters in it. So
The
I
first
really
podcast we ever did. Uh,
true, true
yes,
that. Yeah.
that's a throwback
Um,
to the 5 people who watched that or listened to that rather. So,
right. I feel like we'll be lucky if they're still listening. Um, uh, so I mean, in terms of the wording, I'd give it a little bit better than awfully mid. Um, but maybe lower on the ant. So somewhere like above Angry Birds, but lower than Silent Hill is kind of what I
so
would
bottom
probably
of
put.
Ant or high above, high on
Yeah,
Amy, right?
yes,
Okay, I'm
as
gonna let
designed.
Renner. I'm That's kind of the same field that I'm thinking too. So Renner, I'm gonna let you have the final say on bottom of Ant or top of Amy. Oh,
Top of
don't love
Amy.
that. Okay, sorry, Amy's out there. Uh, so
You made
okay,
it. I'm
I
running
did,
with it.
I did. Okay. So then we get to The Witcher.
Uh, I
Ooh.
personally really liked that. I think it's really good. It is one of the better adaptations that I've seen.
Okay, so is that Bob territory for you? Sounds
I
like it
would
is.
I would say so.
Okay, Casey.
I will accept Bob
Okay,
as of right now.
yeah. Given, I
Mark,
will just say for Casey and I, we have not watched the newest season of this show
that's
yet.
true. We're a little behind.
Um, so do we want to go above Twisted Metal or below Twisted Metal? I just moved it there, but
Uh,
just for quality, I feel like it almost has to go above Twisted Metal. Not that I don't love Twisted Metal, but these are so vastly
they're so
different
different. I,
shows.
I, I,
Is this
I,
the new Twisted Metal that has the guy who plays the Falcon in it?
Yes.
above Twisted Metal, I think.
Okay.
At least as it stands right now.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Here's the 4 and 5 not ruining and everything.
Yes. You can do it, Liam. Okay.
Let's
Let's
go.
go to Detective Pikachu.
I would also like to put this in Bob.
Okay.
So, and I mean, I have seen it. I have no nostalgia for Pikachu or Pokemon or
Hmm.
anything. As it, anybody that's watched us knows this already. So
Yeah.
I will. I mean, if he loves it, then they did good. So I'm fine with that.
Do you want to go
It is a very cute
middle,
movie.
lower,
It is. It is.
highest?
It was really fun. I agree. Would
I
you
put
put it above
middle.
Witcher?
Okay.
No.
I would not put it above Witcher. And that is me
Okay.
personally.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think that's fair.
I watched it and I was like, wow, that was really good.
That was a
Maybe I
really
should
good
like
movie.
Pokemon.
Yes.
So
Uh, okay. Then we have Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which we've actually done a audio podcast about in the past. Good luck finding that. Go for it. But where would we put this series? This one's a little bit different as well because
it is a little
it's not
different. It's
technically
not
an adaptation. It's almost a continue or prequel. Am I right?
prequel kind of, yeah,
Prequel.
because they were like they used that as like a ramp up the game and get everybody excited for the update,
Yeah.
and it worked and they did good.
Yeah.
Um,
The second
I
time.
mean, I
You don't talk about the first time.
what first time? What are y'all even talking about? Um, it is kind of hard to pinpoint. I would lean towards Ant.
Okay.
So just
I concur.
Do
yeah,
we
I
want to
don't
go
feel like it's
top
I
of
don't think
Ant, above Fallout, below Fallout,
for
above
me
Five
it's
Nights?
below Fallout
How do
for
we feel
sure.
about this right here? Above Five Nights at Freddy's and Silent Hill, but below Fallout.
I would accept that.
Okay, cool. Now, here we go. Uncharted featuring Tom Holland.
Have you seen it, Renner?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know where he stands on that. Um, so I don't really know where. So I have some of these movies in my head that I think, that was fun. I really liked the game. And in this case, I really enjoyed the games. Great video game series. And the movie was fun. Um, but now that I'm looking at this full list and really thinking of it, if I'm being honest, I'm thinking high side of Amy, personally.
Okay. What
Um,
about you, Renner?
Um, I don't think I should comment because I
Okay.
think we have already technically talked about this. I personally find this movie to be absolute garbage.
Okay.
That's just me
oh,
Yeah.
I
This is
forgot
an
for
about
some
that.
reason.
this is an interesting one to me because as a movie, I think I would agree with Casey, where it's like it's a pretty mid movie. As an adaptation, I would honestly go Ernie because I just think there's a lot about it that I just was like, that's fine.
Okay.
And I like the series.
With that said, I'll I'll accept Ernie
Okay.
with that perspective. Like it was just when we had like the ships flying in the sky, I was like, and they're shooting at each other. I was just like, this is fun. It's ridiculous, but this is fun.
Yes,
So
that's fair.
I
That
mean, yeah,
is fair.
Ernie is
Okay,
just
here
can't take.
we have the Mortal Kombat from the 90s. I
Oh
don't
my
remember the
gosh.
exact year. Uh, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you've seen this, Renner, correct?
From the 90s, no, I have not.
Okay. So this is just a me and Casey conversation.
All right,
Um,
you go first if you don't mind.
okay. Now given, I mean, kind of going back to the Rampage conversation of just making a movie about this subject, like a fighting game, I think is always going to be a little tricky. Now, to be fair, most fighting games, I think, including Mortal Kombat, do have stories involved in them, but there's so many little individual stories. When you're telling 1 hour and a half to 2 hour story, how do which ones do you focus on? All of that stuff. I don't think they have done it correctly, which is why I am assuming that it is hard. The newest one, which we'll get to, I think is probably the best one. I think this one is not terrible. I would kind of lean in the Amy category, personally.
Okay. I was struggling over here because especially with the way you worded these categories, I'm like at the most it's at Amy, but like this movie it is part of the nostalgic
Yes. Yes.
factor. So it
Yes.
feels weird to put it anywhere on Ernie. So I'd give you Amy. I
Okay.
like that.
Where
Good.
above Rampage, middle, below Angry Birds.
Uh, below Rampage, your
Like
call on the
right.
Angry Birds.
I think right there is good. I mean,
Okay.
again, those movies are just hard movies to compare.
So different
So
from each other.
okay,
So
and
different.
here we have Sonic the Hedgehog 1.
The first one. Okay. So I loved it.
Mhm.
Honestly, I so Nathaniel, I mean, for everybody, Nathaniel and I grew up with the Sega Genesis. We played a lot of Sonic.
We did play a
We
lot
were
of
Sonic
Sonic.
kids. So much Sonic. Um, so I actually went into this one thinking, oh, this is going to be so bad. But I walked away so happy. I was like, man, there's heart in this movie. It's just fun premise.
Absolutely.
Jim Carrey, freaking
Being Jim
fantastic.
Carrey. Yes.
Jim
And
Carrey being Jim Carrey.
kind of going back to that time too. To me, it had felt like it had been a while since Jim Carrey had been Jim Carrey. So it
That's
was
true.
really fun to see that kind of not Ace Ventura, but that kind of wild, just like goofy.
The goofy side of him,
Yeah, yeah.
not the majestic side of him.
No. So,
Being the villain.
okay. So Renner, what are your thoughts
I
on this?
also I I I also really enjoyed the Sonic series. I
Okay.
thought there were definitely things that it's just like, okay, this is actually like a good, like
You
it was
talk.
actually good. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. So do we want to go? That sounds like Bob to me. It
I
doesn't,
mean,
we
we
don't have a
all loved
lot
it.
of negativity. Are we thinking of like highest, below? Just
Renner,
kind
you
of give
think
me a
Renner? Where do you think you would put it in terms of Pikachu? Above or below Pikachu?
I would put it above.
okay.
I'm
Uh
comfortable with that. I like it.
cool. Okay. Assassin's Creed.
Ernie at the highest.
Yeah, agreed. It
I
may
also
be
I
Rin,
concur.
but
You know,
it
know what? You know what? No, I put Ren.
yeah, we
Ren.
need a movie in Rin.
It's we for one, we need a movie in Ren, and for two, you're taking one of my favorite series, and I know it's not a perfect series for all of those people out there. I understand that, but I still always look forward to the next Assassin's Creed. And I was partly excited about this movie because I was hoping to take my wife to this movie and show her why I love this game series. And then I watched this movie and I was like, I'm not going to show her this. She won't understand why. So,
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
It's as kind of a counter to that, which I think is kind of funny. I actually did show that I did watch this movie with my wife, just to be like, well, it's an action movie. Let's check it out. She liked it more than I did. Now, given she's never played an Assassin's Creed, so it's one of those like
yeah,
it might actually be better if you're not having going into it with the preconceptions. I mean, she didn't love it, but she was like, yeah, it wasn't terrible, and I'm like, no, it
but
was
it
terrible.
was like
So
all the stuff I loved about I love about Assassin's Creed
yeah,
weren't even in there. So it's
yeah,
like it was a moot point. I was like, I can't. It's not showing her anything. It's just an
yes.
action movie. So,
Yep,
yep, I
agreed.
like it.
Okay. Let's see. This is Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie. So not the newest one. The newest one did not make it onto our list because two of us have not seen it. So
Haven't seen it.
I think Renner was the only one who had, if I remember. So
It's
anyway,
okay.
yeah, that's fair. I can't speak into that one. But so this is the original adaptation of Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie. So I think it was just Casey and I who have seen this one. Is that correct?
The original adaptation of what?
Tomb Raider of with Angelina Jolie.
Possibly.
Little unsure.
Okay, I mean this came out when you were a very small child,
A
so
wee lad.
a wee
A
lad.
wee lad.
So
Just a bit.
unless you went back and watched it, I wouldn't be surprised if this one passed you by.
I don't think it did.
Okay, you think you have seen it?
I think I have, and I don't remember it being like great.
Okay,
With that said, I kind of would just toss it into Amy. Like I remember
yeah,
watching it and I was just like, it wasn't bad. It was fine.
yeah.
Just go play some Tomb Raider.
Do you want high,
Uh,
mid, low?
I personally would put it under Rampage and Mortal Kombat. Uh, Angry Bird is kind of the wild card. I don't. That one's so weird.
It's
So I don't know
fair.
on that one.
I think that's fine. I think Angry Birds being at the probably the lowest end of Amy throughout this is probably going to be the case. But
I'm comfortable with that.
um yeah, yeah. Again, just going back to the how do you make a video game out of that or how do you make a movie out of that? Not even technically video game, kind of, depending on your definition. Anyway, mobile game. Anyway, Sonic 2.
The struggle. I mean, personally, I liked it just as much. I would be cool with putting it right next to one. I'll keep that one simple on my end.
Okay. Renner.
I concur.
Okay. I'm gonna say I'm gonna use my power here. I actually liked two a little bit more than I liked one. With that
It's
said,
because it had Idris Elba as Knuckles in it, isn't it? That's
I
why.
would say that, but then I watched the Knuckles series,
I
and
never said that.
no,
I said nothing about the
that's
Knuckles series. I
that
said
has
nothing about that.
Idris Elba as Knuckles, and that would be very low on this list. Again, I'm the only one who's watched it,
That kind of
but
makes me sad. I was kind of
yeah,
excited.
I was super excited to see that, and there's there's some positives to it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, no,
But yeah,
it
and I
does
mean
not
with
live
that,
up to this series. So
oh yeah, fair. And I mean with that said, I mean I think I did like two a little bit more than one.
yeah, and just the
Which
way
is
it
a rare thing.
ends with, you know, I guess not spoilers, but I had such I had an even bigger nostalgia kick from the
Oh yeah.
end of 2 than I did with Sonic 1. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's just so good. So,
So good.
okay, Mortal Kombat, the 2010s version. I don't have the exact year on that. So, maybe early 2020s, but I don't know. The
So
recent one.
I know this one's odd for me. I really enjoyed this one. It was fun to see a modern kick of all of those classic characters for
Mhm.
me personally. I really enjoyed it. Now, with that said, it's not Bob. If it is on Ant, I'd probably put it lower on that. But but yeah, that's I mean like low Ant somewhere in Amy. That's what I'm feeling. Like I really enjoyed it, but I accept that it's not like top tier movie here.
Okay.
So
Renner, have you seen this one?
The new Mortal Kombat, no.
Yes. Okay. I I think there's enough going on in that movie. I think I'd like to put it at the bottom of Ant. So I
right on.
it had a lot more positives than negatives, I think. I mean, it had some negatives. Let's not be ridiculous
So
on that. But yeah. Okay.
I thought it was
Now featuring Dwayne the Rock Johnson again, we have the 2000s Doom.
Renner, have you seen
Um
that one?
Yes, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad. Anyway,
So
uh
as a Doom lover, I so shout out to like that little sequence where they go into first person mode and like run and he's running around. I really enjoyed that little bit. But yeah, no, it's bad. I don't.
okay.
I'd put it at best at Ernie,
Okay.
low Ernie.
Renner,
Wait,
are you
I would agree.
okay? Cool. We will go low Ernie on Doom. Okay, here we go. The Last of Us. So this is the HBO series that recently came out last year or two. Time is dead. I don't know. So but yeah, where are we
time's
putting
been
The
dead
Last of
since
Us?
2020. So
Correct. So where do we think about The Last of Us?
I mean, for me, that's Bob. I mean, I thought it was fantastic. So
Renner?
I would agree. I actually haven't seen it. Wait, no, I haven't seen it. I was like, I have not seen it yet. I have heard mixed things, so
no,
I will defer to you
yeah,
guys on there.
and I will
Okay.
say it's not perfect. There are, and I mean, I love the video games, so there are things that I kind of wish they did a little differently. But that goes for all of these, in all fairness.
Yeah.
Even everything on Bob is even the case. Honestly, except for Sonic's. I don't think I would change a thing about Sonic's. But ironically. Um, but I thought it was still really good. Nathaniel, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think this one, I guess this one and The Witcher in a way kind of kicked off this new level of video game adaptations where it's like, oh, video game adaptations can be really effing good.
Can be.
The only reason I don't immediately give that to The Witcher is because technically you have The Witcher based off of the game, just based off of a book series. So at the
Right.
heart, you can say, where's the actual source material on that one? Um, the Last of Us, I think, is phenomenal. Um, Obviously, we're only one season in, so I'm a little hesitant to put this super high. Like my instinct is to like top of Bob, but I'm okay putting it maybe like below Witcher, maybe below Sonic's. I'm still in Bob territory, but in the details of that,
I'm
I'm
good
a
with
little bit more
I'm
flexible.
I'm good with either one of those, and it's really just because Sonic. It's hard to compare it to Sonic.
It
I mean,
really is. Yeah.
um, I mean, honestly, the more I think about it, I almost want to give it still to more Sonics, but and
What if
that's
we
only because
what if we do
I'm surprised.
this?
Split the
Just split the Sonics.
I'm fine with that.
Let's do
That's
it.
funny.
The
Yeah, and
Last of Us is better than Sonic 1, but not as good as Sonic 2.
That just feels silly, but I like it. Let's
Okay,
run with it.
cool.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. So this is the original Resident Evil. I'm flying on the seat of my pants on this one. I'm gonna say in the 2000s. I could be a
I
little
want to
off
say
on that.
2002.
Cool. I
I
know it's
would
been a
love
hot
some.
minute,
I
so
would love somebody to fact check me on that
I
though.
mean we could
That'd
just
be really.
Google stuff, but
We could.
um I'm sharing my screen, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Anyway, so have we all seen the original Resident Evil?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So where are y'all thinking for this movie?
2002. I
Nice.
was right. How do I know that? That's dumb. Um. I mean, honestly, for me personally, it's Ernie. Like,
Oh, okay.
uh, I mean, maybe that. Hang on.
No, that's
That might
fine.
be a little.
No, go
Okay.
against your
Hang on.
Type 9 thing
Hang on.
and
Hang on.
finish your
Hang on. Hang
thought.
on. Well, I don't want to say it ruined nostalgia for me, but
If you just think of them as A, B, C, D, and F, that's fine.
yeah.
So that's
I mean, high Ernie or low Amy is where I would put it. So
okay.
y'all hash it
Okay.
out now.
Renner, what are your
Are we
initial
talking
thoughts
about
on
the
that?
ones, the old ones, the old Resident Evil
Yeah,
ones?
So
like
this is
2002.
Yeah.
2002 Resident Evil.
No, these are ass. Sorry. I don't even think that these deserve to be an Ernie.
Okay.
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 Look, and that's just from actually knowing the actual game series.
I mean,
Yeah.
we played the game series as children and then
Ex
also watched this movie. So,
and
yeah.
well, like, and the thing is like that's just the first movie.
Yeah.
That
There's a
entire
whole other series.
series
Yeah.
is a dumpster fire, and it's all quote unquote in Resident Evil.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the games. So
Yeah.
I personally think it belongs in the me category.
Okay. The Ren
Please
category.
and thank you.
I was being like best offer kind of situation, so I support
Okay.
that.
So, due to my own personal nostalgia, I'm going to at least put it above Assassin's Creed.
So you have
So,
some nostalgia for that.
I
Okay.
do.
I was wondering.
I didn't hate that movie. I mean, it's one of those I personally probably would have put it on top of Ernie or the bottom of
Maybe
our mid
below
one.
Amy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but
I mean,
I will and that is fine with me. So, okay. So then we have, and this is a little bit of a wild card, but it was specifically requested. So this is the most recent Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie, featuring King Magnificent. So I think we've all seen this one, and where
It's different from everything else that's on this
yes,
list because this is a tabletop game. It is
yes,
not a video game. I think the closest thing would be Baldur's Gate, and even Baldur's Gate is very different from, say, D&D.
hmm
So I don't know. I would say it's I personally like it a lot. What about you, Casey?
I enjoyed the snot out of it, to be honest with you. I did not go in very high. Well, I went into it just not knowing what to expect because it's based off of a tabletop game. So I was just like, you know what? Give me a good time and I'm here for it. And I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So
So this is
for
kind
sure.
of the opposite problem that like Rampage and Angry Birds have had, right? Where it's like, how do you make that a story? It's
This is
how
you
do
could
you
do
take
anything.
this entire giant universe and tell one story?
Right.
um,
They could have
so
done I mean, they could have a freaking series easily
yes,
based off of
yes.
this. So
Um,
yeah,
so with that
which
said,
they should.
that would be really cool. Um, I mean, I think it's really good. I don't just due to the weirdness of it, I hesitate sending it to best of best just because it is harder to compare these things. Um, but I'm okay letting y'all kind of point the direction of where y'all want this one.
I mean, even in the similar like quirkiness of it, I mean, for me, I would put it somewhere around Fallout because it even kind of like it has that same not the same quirkiness, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean. That's probably where I would put it.
Okay. Renner, what are your thoughts?
I I think that's great. I think like I think
Above,
below
below.
I think below is fine.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Above Edge Runners.
Oh, I think we need to put it
Ooh.
under Edge Runners, don't you think, Ren?
I also think we need to put it under Edge Runners.
I
Yeah.
like how you've never called him Ren in your entire life, and then because of
I
this list, you just called him
don't
Ren.
know why. Yeah, did not think that through. That felt weird. I'm sorry, buddy.
It felt weird to me too, Casey. It's okay. I forgive you.
Okay. And okay, we're down to our last two, which are pretty much the polar opposites of each other, but we'll start in the order that we have them. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. So I will say, I believe, Renner, you were the only one who's seen this, but you did specifically request this one to be put on it, so I did. What you thinking?
It's Ant. It's actually not terrible.
Okay. Where on Ant?
I would say above. I would actually say just below Five Nights at Freddy's.
So right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the thing is like compared to like the original Resident Evil movies, the fact of like the Welcome to Raccoon City is actually like is literally the first and second game just smashed together.
So this is the one
Actually,
I need
pretty
to.
good.
This is the one I actually
Okay.
need to
And it's
watch.
and also it's scary. So or it's scary.
I mean,
I'm
you
a big
watched it.
bitch.
We we know it's not that
I'm a big bitch baby. So I think everything's scary.
That's funny.
especially the next movie.
Ooh, super scary. Peach, you're so cool. Okay, anyway, Super Mario Brothers.
So we're gonna.
Okay, so where do we want to put the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Um, I also think it's Bob.
I think it's Bob. I mean,
Okay.
I was I was surprised. I was like, man. So I mean, all the previews and everything looked really good, but I was just like cautiously optimistic here,
Mm-hmm.
and it was fantastic.
Agreed. Okay, so with that said, give me
Ooh,
where you would like to put it. So above Twist. This is the last one. We'll just go above Twisted Metal? Question mark.
yes.
Above Detective Pikachu.
Renner, verify.
I think that's okay.
Okay,
Okay,
above Sonic 1.
I think that's okay.
I think so.
Above The Last of Us. I know this is just
And
this.
that's
Yeah,
hard. I can't answer that one because I haven't
I'm
seen it.
I'm gonna go
Let's
yes.
okay, above Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
All right, Nathaniel, I need you to help me on that one.
Yes. No. Honestly, yes.
Okay. And
Okay.
then lastly,
This is you guys.
The Witcher.
Hmm.
This is so hard to compare. I
I feel
from
like I want to keep Witcher at the top.
I think that's where I would end it as well. So, with that said, both of y'all look at that list, see if y'all want to make any arguments for any movement one way or another, if things need to be moved up, if things need to be moved down, or if you are content with the final result here.
I still want the Sonics next to each other, but we can leave it. That might be more of an aesthetic thing going on.
But I love the fact that we have Super Mario, Sonic 2, The Last of Us, Sonic 1, Detective Pikachu.
Right.
So I actually kind of love
It's kind of awesome.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm comfortable with it. I like it.
I want to bring this one back up because I want to make the argument that Fallout belongs between Detective Pikachu and Twisted Metal. What would we think of that edit?
I mean, I wanted it in Bob, so obviously I'm for that. So
Renner, are you okay with this edit?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. Are we good with that?
I am good with that.
I feel
That's
like we
pretty
might.
solid.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of flack for the Twisted Metal being in the top of the top, but I really loved it,
Dude,
and I really
I mean,
didn't think I would. So
and I mean, that may have happened because we just have a lot of nostalgia for it. I mean,
yeah,
honestly. I mean, you know what? It's our list. So,
it is. It is. So with that said, if you had fun with this, let us know. I will have a link to this list. I created this list, so I will link it in the description below if y'all want to do it yourself, or you can. I think you can even see ours. I don't know. You can see it here. Who cares? So with that said, let us know if there's anything else you would like us to tier rank. Let us know what you think of our tier rank. Tell us where we're very wrong, and that's totally acceptable.
bring it.
And we will talk to y'all next time.
Peace out, suckers. I don't know what I'm saying.